The last thing that I kind of want to show you is just maybe some basic things with your calculator. You probably already know them, but if you don't, it just makes things a lot easier. Okay? So I'm going to get out of my ACT program, 7 for quit, and then clear. One thing is basic operations with your fractions. Okay, you probably already know this, but all the time I have students that said, I didn't know that would change it back to a fraction. Okay, so anytime you put a fraction on your calculator, you always want to put it in parentheses. So for example, if I wanted to do 1/2 plus 1/3, all right, so I would do parenthesis, 1 divided by 2, close my parenthesis, plus 1/3, so parenthesis 1 divided by 3. Now, when I press enter, it's always going to give me a decimal, okay? But then I'm going to tell it to change it back to a fraction for me. I'm going to hit my math button. My very first one is fraction. Hit enter, and then enter again. It'll change it back, okay? So basic stuff, but sometimes people don't know. The other thing that I want to show you really quick, and you'll use this a lot of time, maybe in your Algebra 2 or Trig class. If I'm graphing 2 things at a time, I'm just going to leave that in there. I'm going to put something else in there. I'm going to put a line, 2x plus 1. Okay, and I'm going to graph them. Let me get this back to the original line. And on yours, it will always change back to its original form. On mine, I have to actually change it. All right, so I should have this curve, and then I have this line, okay? So let's say in your class you have these 2 big equations in there. You don't want them both graphed anymore. You just need to look at one of them. But you don't want to have to retype the other one when you need it, okay? You can turn on and off your graphs. Here's how you do it. Y equals. Let's say I want to turn off this first graph. I'm going to go to my equal sign. See how now my equal sign is flashing? I'm going to press enter. So see how this equal sign is shaded, but my other one's not anymore? It only graphs the ones that have a shaded equal sign. So I'm going to hit graph. Now it's just graphing the one that I wanted. Okay? If I want it back on, I'm going to go over, turn it back on by hitting enter. And then I have it back. Okay, so it's just something nice to know. If you have 2 things in there, you only want to see one at a time. That's how you do it. Another thing you might want is sometimes when people put 2 equations in there and they want to be able to tell the difference between which one is which. Okay? I'm going to go back before my y equals. And when I hit enter, see I have a darker shaded line? When it graphs that first one, it's going to be a lot darker. So there's my curve, there's my line. So a lot of times people might be graphing 2 different lines, but they want to be able to tell which one is which. Make one darker, the other one lighter, you'll be able to tell which one. Okay? One other thing, when you're graphing, sometimes someone will graph something. Let me get it on here real quick. And this is what will happen. You'll put something in your y equals, you'll graph, but you don't have any x and y axes. For some reason they disappeared. And it happens sometimes. I don't know, it's kind of a glitch in the calculator sometimes. So if that ever happens, go to second, zoom for format, and you always want your axes on. So you'll go down, hit enter, highlight it, and then graph it again.